And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, all about helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here, your local economist of choice when it comes to real estate here in Tampa Bay. We bring on the best, absolute best expert contributors, all different areas of real estate, credit, finance, estate and tax planning, appraisals, home services, and more. So we'd love to connect with you, 813-917-1894. Just give us a call or a text message to 813-917-1894 for all of your advice. You know, you have different decisions in your life. We want to be that advocate for you and help you understand that and kind of, make those connections for you. So we'd love to help you with that. We got Nick Schriver coming up, second half of the show, Decorating Elves. Feel-good story of the day as well. Dallas police officers distribute new shoes to kids who need them. Feel-good story of the day. And we're going to be kicking off here with Ray Hall, with Ray Hall Appraisals here in just a moment. Before we do, we like to feature our real estate listings live on air. It's a proven strategy that's helped us sell our properties faster for more money at a higher list price to sell price ratio here in Tampa Bay. 6361 US Highway 301 South in Riverview. This is a beautiful property, commercial property. You got a 0.81 acre lot fenced in on a major thoroughfare, 50,000 vehicles a day passing by. So if you're a business owner, maybe owner-operator of a mechanic shop or some type of a car lot, this is a great opportunity on a very busy traveled road. It's currently operating as a U-Haul dealership and a franchise there, but 6361 US Highway 301 South in Riverview, compliments of the Platinum MVP team at .kw.com. Commercially zoned, fenced-in property, direct highway frontage on US 301 South, and you're right down the road from I-75, so you can, of course, hit I-75, all the major thoroughfares there. All right, 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. This is a $1 million listing, beautiful property in a gated community in Carrollwood. You got a pool, you got a spa, you got a spiral staircase that goes to the second floor, as well as a private elevator inside. This is an executive-style home, beautiful property, 5,253 square feet. Great opportunity to own real estate here in Tampa Bay. Just reduced down to $975 as well. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Just make sure you just check out platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we got Ray Hall in the house. Ray Hall Appraisals. Welcome back, man.
Thanks for having me. I always love being here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What you been up to?
We're market's shifting a little bit, so making some changes, and it's like that book, Who Moved My Cheese? We're out there finding more cheese. So
yeah, exactly.
Staying busy. We've got some new people working for us and doing some things. We're actually collaborating with some of the residential appraisers who maybe have slowed down a little bit, and we're helping them get some commercial work their way.
Nice.
So because as we've talked before, I'm a certified general appraiser. I can appraise pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I'm helping them out, and we split those fees, and they're able to bring in another revenue source. So it's really a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I just left Real Producers Magazine over at the International Plaza Mall, Whiskey Cake there at the mall. We had a panel of experts. I was on the panel, and it was interesting. It was a lot of that theme there. How can you, if we create a collaborative environment, an abundance mentality, the pie gets bigger for everyone.
Exactly. I don't know if you ever saw the movie A Beautiful Mind.
Yes.
When he won the Nobel Prize, if I remember correctly, it was for his theory in gaming, which was you've got to benefit everybody to benefit yourself.
Oh, cool.
And and that's how you've got to go out there and do that. I've had so much success in my business because I collaborate with other appraisers.
Right.
I have other appraisers calling me from other states. Hey, I've got this trainee. Can you help them out? By the way, what can we do together?
Yeah.
And that's what's kept me going and kept my success. Really surpassed what I ever thought it would be. So. If you're in a business out there and you're struggling right now, especially if you're, maybe in some kind of lending or resident or real estate, collaborate. Go
Yeah.
out there, meet people, talk to people.
That's right.
Trust me, it's out there. You just got to go get it.
Yeah, that's right. And what did you think about this property here, the 6361 US Highway 301 south of Riverview, when I put that up there, commercial property?
I love commercial. You know,
Yeah.
that's we usually talk about residential because that's primarily what everyone can relate to. We've all owned homes, but I love commercial. And anytime you can get a property on a major thoroughfare,
Yeah.
I'm looking at that property. You've got great access from the thoroughfare too. It looked like it had 2 or 3 curb cuts in there.
Yep.
Access is a big thing. Because especially when you have that second curb cut, people don't realize sometimes you might have a potential customer who's going to miss that first one, but if they can pull in that second one, you're good to go. Otherwise, they're going to go down and they're just going to pass by your business.
Yeah.
You've got a mobile home park back there, which means you've got some people living there. You've got clients right there, or customers, I should say.
Yep.
Proximity to the interstate, that's huge. You
Right.
want to be close to the interstate. You don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere where no one's driving around. So, just the fact that you're on 301, you're on a pretty heavily traveled part of 301. I'm not even looking at exactly where it is. All I know is it's in Riverview, and I go there a lot. So
Yeah.
301 in Riverview, that's a great property. And also, I don't even know if you mentioned this, but it looks like you got a billboard on that property.
Yeah, that's right. Billboard on site.
That's
Extra income.
additional income. So now you buy this property, you're going to lease out that space, but you're also leasing out the space for the billboard to whoever is putting those signs up there. So
Yep.
that's really a great income producing property right there. Do we get a show discount if we're interested?
There you go. Hey, let's make it happen. It's listed at 1.6 million. There's office space, so you got room to run your office,
Yep.
have your maybe a sales team there, operations, and then in the back, that'd be perfect for a mechanic or those types of things, storage potentially.
And the good thing, I'm looking at the pictures of that right now. That whole that's pretty open in there. It's not
Yeah.
like you're already partitioned off for offices or anything specific. It's so open.
Right.
You've got a lot of options with that property.
It's a good point.
I mean, honestly, before you said it was automotive, it almost looked like a bar.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah,
You-
it could have
you
been.
know?
It used to be a car dealership. It's got like the little car stops there, so they can't run through it with the big heavy duty metal bumper, basically.
Yep.
In the ground.
But look at it. I mean, you've got an open space. You've got a commercial zoning, so your possibilities are almost endless. And you could do any number of things with this. So, if you're looking for a commercial property, I'd head right down there and check it out.
Yeah, we got Ray Hall Appraisals in the house, and he is a expert contributor for all things valuation. You look at valuing an asset. He's talked about how he's valued citrus farms in the past, and you base it on the amount of product. So he knows how to put a value on different types of assets, residential, commercial, all different types of assets. But I've got this stat here. I want to show. I just kind of want to put up on the screen. I don't remember if producer Nick has this or not, but I'll hold it up just so you can kind of see it. But you see that trend there. Those are the residential listings. I think this is residential for Hillsborough, but you see the listings are coming back. So inventory is increasing as properties are not selling.
Correct. But and a lot of people are I hear people all the time, oh, interest rates are so high, inventories. Well, remember, you're coming off all-time lows. An all-time low of inventory, an all-time low of interest rates.
Right.
So, don't do anything, make a knee-jerk decision thinking this is the end. This is called a correction.
Yeah.
I've had so many people come to me go, well, the market's going to crash. This is going to crash. And I look at them and say, well, I've been doing this 18 years and I don't know that.
Right.
How do you know that?
Right.
What do you know that I don't know?
Yeah.
Well, income and this and that and the other. I'm like, well, it hasn't done it yet.
Right.
It's a correction. I'm still appraising new purchases. I'm still appraising for refinances. So we haven't had a crash yet. It could be a correction. But, in every market, any change in a market, there's opportunity for people.
Yeah.
Right now, if you're looking to buy, hey, if there's an increase in inventory, now you've got negotiating tools. Now you can, maybe offer a little bit lower instead of $50,000 above what they were asking. So, don't think that this is the end. Don't think this is a crash. Just keep a level head and make good decisions and make educated decisions and work with a professional who knows the market. Some of us are professionals or some of us are experts in this, but, the common person isn't. I don't go into the doctor's office and tell him how he should, conduct his business. So, don't think you're an expert in the real estate. Don't expect to be an expert in the market. Just stay patient and stay educated.
That's right. Ray Hall Appraisals here online, rayhallappraisal.com.
Yep, that's it.
Yep, Ray Hall in the studio here. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and we love to dive deep into these real estate different scenarios. I had something come up this past week that's interesting. I want to kind of bounce off you because I think it's going to help a lot of people out there. So you got a home that's going up for sale. It was a rehabber, renovator that flipped it, added additional square footage.
Okay.
So they went from 1,700 square feet to 2,200 square feet, an additional 500 square feet. They closed in a room, dropped the air conditioning ducts in there, and did some research here. And I guess it's saying that appraisers are now required to use the ANSI Z765 standard for calculating square footage.
Correct. ANSI standards.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about that, because the misconceptions there is like, oh, well, if I just close it in, does it have to have an air conditioning dropped in there? What's the rules around that?
Yeah. So if you do close in an area, it does have to be air conditioned. Now, you can put those split unit ACs in there.
Okay.
You might see them. You have that little unit outside. It's piped in. And the reason those are fine for that is it's part of the fixture now. Now, you close in a room and you put in a window unit. That's not living area. The reason is that window unit is personal property.
It can be pulled out. It
can be pulled out and taken away. So think about it. If you put the window unit in and you get, say, $10,000 in value off the additional square footage, you take the window unit out and now the value's not there.
No, you don't.
Does that $800 unit really bring $10,000 in value? That makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
Now, one of these split units or something that's affixed in the structure, that's going to cost you more, but you could get the value back because now that's living area.
Right.
ANSI standards also, it's, we have to measure your house down to the 10th of a foot. It's not even inches, it's 10th of a foot. We have to determine what's living area, what's not living area. So if you have just a covered patio, we've got to measure that out and put that on there. And we also have mostly what that's doing is there's additional statements we have to make in the report. But most appraisers have always been measuring and reporting to ANSI standards. We just have a little bit more to do now with the reporting in the report. But yeah, I get that a lot where, or I love this one where they have, they have a porch, they open the door, they let the AC flow in from the other room, and they say, well, it's cool enough.
Right.
That'd be great. I'd get an air conditioner that could do the state of Florida, and that's my GLA.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's not it. There has to be an AC vent or some type of air conditioning unit that's affixed to the structure of the house.
Yeah. And
that's how you get a gross living area. A couple other misconceptions I've had people is, they have a room in the house and there's no closet. Well, I use this as a bedroom, so it's a bedroom. Well, nope, if you don't have a closet, it's not a bedroom. And not only do you have to have a closet, but you have to have a second method of ingress and egress. So if you have an interior room that has no windows and one door getting into it,
right,
it cannot be a bedroom unless you put another door or another window for safety reasons, just in case there's a fire.
For safety.
So I've gone into homes where someone just bought themselves a piece of furniture like a wardrobe, screwed it to the wall, and said, well, it's a fixture now, so this is a bedroom.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That buying a $300 piece of furniture, screwing it to a wall, now gives you the full value of a bedroom?
Right.
It makes no sense. So
you got to actually close it in, drywall it in.
It's got to be part of the structure, and I'm sure you can argue that point, but I don't know of any appraisers who would be okay with that.
Right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, this is real life stuff that comes up all the time. I can think
Absolutely.
back to, my last 10 or 15 deals, and I've seen a lot of different issues relating around that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Ray Hall from Ray Hall Appraisals here in studio on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up as well as our feel-good story of the day, Dallas police officers distribute new shoes to kids who need them. So stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, taking a quick break. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter. We are growing our real estate team as well. So if you're out there, you're a real estate agent looking for a team or maybe an admin, we are hiring right now. BRhymes@kw.com. BRhymes@kw.com. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martine Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text, complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, top 100 ranked real estate team. 2801 West Patterson Street in Tampa is one of our hot listings. We feature our listings on air to help our sellers profit more and sell faster. So if you're thinking about selling out there, we'd love to talk to you. We're going to give you the absolute best first-class service, exposure as well on the Consumer Quarterback Show, 80 outlets worldwide. 2801 West Patterson Street in Tampa. This is a completely renovated property, corner lot, fenced-in home, beautiful property with no homeowners association, and it's in the heart of Tampa Bay, just 15 minutes to Raymond James Stadium, close to the zoo and Busch Gardens, all that fun stuff. 2801 West Patterson Street, Tampa. Also have a property at 507 South Prospect. This is in Clearwater, commercial property. Got another commercial property here in Clearwater, 507 South Prospect Avenue in Clearwater. 2,600 square feet. You got 12 rooms, 2 bathrooms, and it's a 2-story office building near downtown Clearwater, right off of Gulf to Bay. Great opportunity. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
And you can also buy dirt. We got a lot of vacant land listings available as well. And so we got Ray Hall in the house, Ray Hall Appraisals. So residential, commercial, vacant land.
Do it all.
You do it all.
I do it all. Land's always good because, that's kind of, I got into appraising because I love figuring things out. It's kind of putting the puzzle together. So land, a little more analysis when you're looking at stuff like highest and best use and things like that. So, that's why I've always enjoyed land. And some of the most interesting properties I've ever done, that we've discussed before, the Indian Mound, the Citrus Groves.
Yep.
Those are land appraisals. Well, not so much the Citrus Grove, but it's a matter of, what's the value going to be to the typical buyer.
Yeah.
And that's really what an appraiser is trying to figure out is who's the typical buyer, why do they want the property, why is it valuable to them,
right?
And now how much are they willing to pay for that?
Yeah.
And that's basically what the appraisal is.
Yeah, and you look at the traditional, I don't want to say conventional wisdom, but also, like the wise tales, that they say is, oh, well, let's list it higher and hopefully we'll get a higher offer because I know they're going to lowball me. And I pull out a statistic or a figure right out of Millionaire Real Estate Agent that kind of walks them through why that's the wrong way to look at it.
Absolutely.
Because then you're going to end up with multiple price drops. You're going to end up selling for less than you could have initially, based on 14 days, 20-day window typically on these real estate listings.
Right.
That after that it's going to look at it as a stale listing. So why is it stale, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm also an investor. I have a couple of investment properties, and sometimes when I'm looking for a property, when I see, that property that's been on the market or had multiple reductions, it could even be within the past 2 weeks or something. And my thinking is, they're desperate.
Right.
So I'm never going to give them a market offer. I'm
Right.
going to lowball them.
Yeah.
So you increased your list price to avoid that lowball offer, but all you really did was probably increase the amount of lowball offers you're going to get because
Right.
that's what the investors are going to do.
Yeah.
I had a property. I actually walked away from this assignment. They ordered a private appraisal. They were trying to kind of steer me towards a particular value.
Right.
And I told them, I said, look, it's not there. I said, I don't think you're going to have it. I'm going to do you a favor. I'm not even going to charge you for the inspection. I'm not going to charge you for anything I've done because I don't think I can help you out, And they kept harping. They wanted this appraisal. Eventually, they did find a realtor to list it where they wanted it. And I kept my eye on it. And this was last year. It was on the market for 6 months. 6 months. What was on the market for 6 months? Nothing.
Right.
They had multiple price reductions.
Yep.
I want to say they had 5 or 6 price reductions to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
And finally it got canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and who's out there? The realtor lost a lot of money on marketing, headaches,
yeah.
emails, text
Yep.
messages, phone calls. It ends up burning out. Now, sometimes you can win still on the list side if you get a buyer from it. If you get a buyer that says, hey, that one's a little bit high, but show me something else.
Exactly.
Or maybe a seller sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what you see. Ray Hall Appraisals here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. All things real estate here today on the show, real estate value as well, valuation. And, speaking of that point, when you looked at people saying, hey, I need this number, that's what led to the last crash.
A lot of things led to the last crash. But yeah, back then, and now this is before Dodd-Frank and things like that. And, probably that's another reason why I'm a little hesitant on saying there's a crash coming. Back then, it was kind of a free-for-all, especially with the private mortgage companies. Mm-hmm. Now, lenders, a bank, your Bank of America, someone like that, they're a little more, they work with the appraiser, and they're more trusting of the value. The reason is it's their money.
Yeah.
They want their money safe. That's an investment for them. They want that interest. They want that loan. Some of the mortgage companies back then, they were just brokering the deal. They didn't care. It wasn't their money.
Yep.
So what would happen is, and I remember because I started appraising in 2004, you got the order and they told you what value they needed.
Yep.
And if they weren't getting the value they needed, they just went and found another appraiser to do it for them.
That's right.
And they never gave you business again, which is why now, unless you're a direct lender, you're not allowed to get an appraiser.
Right.
Now, if you're going through a divorce or something like that and you need to have some property appraised, you can go directly to the appraiser. Or, we've talked about doing those listing appraisals for people who just want to know what their home is worth.
Yeah, owner's use.
For that you can. But let's say you're going to go to your neighborhood bank and get a conventional loan and you need an appraisal done, they have to order the appraisal. You're not allowed to do it.
Right, through the AMC, the
right.
appraisal management company.
Exactly. And that was a big rule that changed because of that crash.
And you also had a lot of the non-conforming, non-prime companies. I worked for Argent Mortgage back then at the time as well, and Argent Mortgage was a subprime type lender.
Yep.
And all these extra types of loans, no doc. You get under that NINA, no income, no assets, all these crazy pick a payment loans, negative amortization, that kind of stuff happened. Ray, about 20 seconds back to you, my friend.
Oh, okay. I mean, back then too, we had those HARP loans. We had those 120% loans, things like that.
Yes.
And we're avoiding those now, and
right.
those aren't in place. So, like I always say, if you're looking to get into some real estate, get with a realtor who knows what they're doing. Get with an appraiser who knows what they're doing. Know what you're getting into. Be an educated buyer because they're the ones who always win.
Yep. You win on the buy side, and especially if you're investing. So, Ray,
exactly.
Good nuggets of advice there. Visit them online, rayhall.com, rayhallappraisals.com. and consumerqb.com. You can find them there as well. And it's always a pleasure having Ray in studio. Thanks again.
Here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, buddy. And coming up, we got Nick Schriver, Decorating Elves, in studio, as well as our feel-good story of the day. Dallas police officers distribute new shoes to kids who need them. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We are hiring and growing, so if you're a real estate agent out there, or maybe even in the real estate business looking for an admin position, we would love to talk to you. brhymes@kw.com, 813-917-1894 is the hotline. And we got a hot property listing here at 14663 Village Glen Drive in Tampa. This is a Carrollwood property, beautiful home, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. You got a pool, you got an outdoor lanai with a spa and a outdoor kitchen. Master bath features a jacuzzi tub, sauna, and a tanning bed. 14663 Village Glen Drive in Tampa, 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 1,951 square feet. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Also have another South Tampa home at 1605 South Georgia Avenue. 1605 South Georgia Avenue is a beautiful residential home here in the South Tampa area. Now, it's in between Hyde Park and Palma Cia, so it's kind of right on the line there. But you're walking distance to Bayshore. You walk down to Bayshore and enjoy that biking path, that jogging and running path. 1,500 square feet, just shy of 1,500 square feet, 1605 South Georgia Avenue in Tampa. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we got our friend Nick Schriver back in studio, Decorating Elves. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Brandon. Thanks for being here. Glad I made it.
Yeah, man. Pleasure to have you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, so on my way over here, I blew a flat right before I hit the bridge.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I managed to pull it off to get that thing up from underneath the truck, swapped out with the spare. And
you're
then
like NASCAR out there.
literally, I walked in, and you guys are shaking me in here. Come on, dude, we're going live. So
yeah,
I'm thrilled to have made it, and I'm just glad that I don't look like a sweaty mess like I did about 7 minutes ago.
You got a little AC rolling.
Yeah, it was on high, and I was just like wiping it down because it's hot out there.
Absorbing it. You know, that's a good point, too, about the young generation. You know, I don't know if some of these younger folks would know how to do, change a tire, like these little basic skills, right?
I know 2 younger folks that will by the time they drive.
Right, exactly.
They
Get out there and show me how you do it,
They
right?
sit in the back seat when I take them to practice.
Yeah, there you go.
They'll be learning that at some point. So who knows, man, what gets taught. But, like, for any parent out there, anytime, as far as the way I look at all of it is anytime you get those opportunities to pass one of those life lessons down, you got to take advantage of it because you never know the situation that they get into when you're not around to help them.
Yeah, exactly. You got to think about it for sure. So we got Nick Schriver in the house, Decorating Elves, longtime friend of the program. Did a great job on my home, by the way. If we're talking about outdoor lighting, it just lights up those majestic oak trees out there on the seawall. We're on lakefront. So I just love that look up front. It's just giving that home that beautiful feel. It really makes an estate-style home just really look and feel like that, not only during the day, but of course at night with Decorating Elves or your outdoor lighting.
Yeah, so one of the things that we do in the lighting world is we take those beautiful homes and then we just really highlight those wonderful features at night. So as that sun's going down, somebody turns the corner, they look at that property, they see it, they enjoy it, they go, wow, that really looks amazing. So, and we can do that with estate properties. We can do that with properties that are just, kind of normal, average. Everybody's home is their castle. And so there's different ways to make those castles shine and sparkle and really stick out. And lighting's a great way to do that because all we need to do is figure out what features accent the property, what features really highlight and make it look good. And then we put some lighting on it. We do it in certain ways. We do it in very specific ways. And it really just brings it alive. One of the other big things that we do in that category also is that we are expanding the use of those outdoor rooms. So, you get out on the back patio, you get out on the pool deck, you get out in that yard, you get out in, there's lots of different scenarios that people live in. and putting a good lighting piece back there really, really helps, make that look amazing, gives it more usability, makes it more friendly, and then, gives that security out there that really helps do all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It sure does. And that's what you see, when you think about real estate and you think about appraisal values and improving the values. And then, even the security piece too. I think the security piece is big these days, adding that in, that having that lighting, especially, it gets pitch black at night. And, with the economy getting worse, let's face it, crime's going to go up. We got an open southern border. People are coming across that southern border. Gang activities up, fentanyl's flooding across the border, but this is also something to think about with the advantages of decorating elves.
Yeah, security is a big deal, and it's interesting that you mentioned that. And it's something we talked about the last time I was on the show. I believe it was with Michelle, who was standing in for you, and she brought it up, especially from a woman's point of view, and we addressed a lot of those topics in that case. But we actually had a customer earlier. It's a customer now, but at the time it was a prospect that had reached out to us and said, hey, we're interested in outdoor lighting. We just moved here, like a lot of people, from another state, from the Mid-Atlantic.
Yep.
And they're just living north of downtown St. Pete in that northeast area.
Yep.
Not quite in the Snell Isle area, but there where you're just north of downtown, where you get some of the older homes. And she goes, I do want we want the beautification. We want it to look good. But hey, there's you give them whatever name you want, streetwalkers that kind of go through the alley, and that really doesn't make me feel comfortable. It was a lady, a little bit older in age, and she goes, that's something that we want to highlight. Obviously, we don't want to, draw concern or make it so glaring that it's not attractive, but it's something that we do need to address. She goes, and she said it jokingly, she goes, just ignore the bums in the street behind the house. And we were like, all right, because she wanted us to come by and look at it at night. We were like, that's normal. We'll do that. We'll take a look, and then, if we need to scare them out of there, we'll do that, but we'll make sure that we address any of those concerns that you have. So, lighting does a lot of things in that, and, whether you're near downtown St. Pete or Tampa or Clearwater, one of the major, little more urban, a little more city-type areas, and you're addressing maybe just people that are making you feel uncomfortable. They may not have, a negative in mind, but it just makes you feel more comfortable that they're not out there hiding. You have a little better understanding for what they may be doing, or maybe when they've passed through those areas. And then, when it comes down to people just outright, theft and crime, they have a tendency to try to stay as under the radar as possible. Yeah. So the more you can do to detract from that, the better it's just going to be easier. The better you're going to sleep at night. The more the spouse is going to be when you travel. Just a lot of those things just become, help that inner serenity and help you enjoy that castle like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. If you just joined us, we're talking with Nick Schriver. He's with Decorating Elves right here in Tampa Bay. Again, another great example of one of our local area expert contributors. These are very busy and successful business owners and managers and sales representatives that take time out of their busy schedule to come in and serve the community as a consumer advocate. So when we think about outdoor lighting, we want you to think about Decorating Elves. Nick Schriver and his team do a great job, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, they are a first-class organization, did a great job, and even some of the follow-up, I think one of the lights kind of broke or something happened, and it came back out, fixed it up, and it's got us going. So it's really cool. I love that aspect too, of just being able to look outside and just enjoy the view in the evenings, and just enjoying your home and your real estate.
Well, in the design world with lighting, a lot of people think, oh, well, how's it going to look, when I'm outside, or how's it going to look from the street when I pull up? Well, and as those are important, most of the people enjoy their outdoor landscape through a window.
Right.
So we try to talk about that a lot in the design phase with people, where are you spending your time indoors, and there are a certain amount of women that have a tendency to spend their time in the kitchen prepping food, or sometimes they watch their shows in there as they're doing other things, and they like to glance out maybe a big window, or maybe they glance out like a couple of sliders or something, and there's a view that they take in.
Right.
And we want to make sure that view becomes enhanced. So that's like how you take the outside room and the outside space and then incorporate it into an interior space and really work that through. And just by putting some lights in very strategic manner, you can really enhance that space. So it's not something where like, hey, if we were outside in that space, that's how we would light it. But knowing that we're going to be enjoying it 80-90% of the time from this window or from this vantage point, we light it this way, and we do it that way with that intent in mind.
Right. And Nick, we talk a lot about success tips and strategies for business owners out there, and you guys have a very successful business. What kind of ideas do you have around that, like success tips, management tips, helping your employees succeed? Anything you want to add around that?
Yeah. So if we're going to get on the subject of business and tips and all that, it's one of my favorite subjects. It's something I always dive into. The number one thing that I'm always giving, and this is something that I was given as a young kid, is showing up is the most important thing in the world. Like in my opinion, there's nothing more significant than being present. Mm-hmm. And that goes for sports, that goes for business, that goes for sales. You fill that blank in anywhere, anyhow. And if you just show up, more than likely your opportunities are going to just grow significantly. People go, hey, you got a great business. It's in a niche market. How'd you get there? Well, man, I get my butt up every day, whether I want to or not, and I start. And once I get started, after kind of you get through a couple of reps, it gets a little bit easier.
Right.
And there's mornings, and we've all had them, where they're no fun. Like, you do not want to get up. You do not want to start. You do not want to go. But once you get going, yeah, man, you get moving, and it starts becoming easier. And you just start logging those hours. So, just to recap that, I mean, showing up is such a big deal. Something that I talk with my kids all the time on coaching. When I'm coaching kids, we talk about, hey, if you're not here, somebody else is getting that opportunity. And it doesn't matter how good you are, how talented you are. If you're not here to show those talents off, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right?
It comes to mind when you say show up, I always think about Lombardi time.
Yeah. 15
minutes early, ready to go. It's not like show up at that time and then start getting ready and then start slowly getting into line, or, if it's a baseball thing. But yeah, it's showing up and then showing up with the right attitude.
Well, there's a lot of that, showing up and showing up with the right attitude. The Lombardi time is the thing that I love, but as a kid, I had no control over, because my mother was perpetually late. So I was very good at kind of sneaking into a practice or sneaking into a thing and then just being there. But the one thing that she was great at was getting me there.
Yeah.
I didn't miss ever.
Good.
And, and so even though I was 5 or 10, always late, and I had no control over any of those things, I still made it to every single one. Yeah. And after you start compiling those, it's a big deal. And so, yeah, it's really important to be on time, but more importantly is, if you're late, is to still show up.
Yeah.
Brian
Tracy wrote a book called Eat That Frog, or something to that effect. Eat the Frog. And what he means by that is tackle the biggest, baddest, worst thing that you don't want to do. Tackle it first. Just do it. Just get it done. For people in sales like me, I mean, it's a lot of times it's waking up, making those prospecting calls, those sales calls. And then, like you said before, what you find is that once you get in there and you start doing it and you get the momentum, you got that law of momentum kicking in. You're like, oh, okay, good. I got a couple yeses, or I got a couple maybes. And now and then, by the way, if you get a bunch of no's in a row, you got a yes coming up soon.
Somewhere.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and Dave Ramsey, who's the great financial coach there, he calls that the debt snowball, right? Pay your biggest, you pay your smallest one off, and then your next, and then your next, and then it kind of starts to accumulate, and then you start to get that momentum. Because if you chew on the big things first, you get that momentum, you get that thing out of the way. Yeah. For us, when we're doing our work, like in our business, we have that same thing. Like, hey guys, we need to do the hardest work that we don't want to do when we show up.
Yeah.
Like when we have the most energy.
Yeah, knock it out. Especially in the mornings when it's cold.
Yes.
If you're working outside, not cold, but
That
colder.
yeah,
Cooler.
when it's not brutal.
Yeah.
Because when you get to the end of the day and you're tired and you don't want to,
right,
it's a lot easier to do those little things than it is to go, oh man, well, we still got that big thing.
Yes.
And then a lot of times they'll push it off till the next day or things like that. So yeah, that's definitely a great thing. I recently, in the business topic, read a book about 2 years ago that I absolutely love. I'm pretty sure he's a guy that you hear in between some of your spots.
Yeah.
Chris Voss.
Yeah.
Yes, and Never Split the Difference.
Yep.
I read it. I probably read it 3 times now.
Yeah.
I saw him do a speech at a leadership conference, and it literally, what he was talking about blew my mind.
Yeah, he's awesome, man.
Just blew my mind. Because, when you talk about the topic of, negotiation, right? Yep. It's kind of like this, you can't budge, you've got to, get it all. How do you just take advantage and dominate the other person? And, that's not what he's talking about. He talks about what they call, I believe, tactical empathy.
Yeah.
I think is the words that he uses,
Exactly.
tactical empathy, which is pretty interesting. And the way I understand that is the ability to understand where the other person's position is and where they're coming from without actually siding with them.
Yeah, no sympathy, but empathy.
Yeah.
You may not have sympathy, but
you may not agree, and
Yeah.
you may not say, hey, that's not where we are. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like in his case, the FBI, he's like, no, I'm not going to give you a helicopter,
Right.
but I can understand why you've kidnapped somebody and you want one.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's right.
it gets them closer to those negotiations, and so there was really an eye opener for me. And then the big thing that I like is the how question, right?
Yeah.
That he teaches in there. So, when you're in those communications, and I do this with my kids a lot, well, how are we going to get there, if you're not dressed?
Yeah, how am I supposed to do that? That was his big thing
Yes.
in the book. Let's take a quick break, though. When we come back, we're going to talk more about this book I'm holding up if you're watching our TV show version, Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss, I love that training, and I teach classes on negotiation as well, so I love that. Taking a quick break, more with Nick Schriver on the other side of this break. Decorating Elves, check them out online as well. And our feel-good story of the day, Dallas police officers distribute new shoes to kids who need them. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey everybody, it's the Captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy Brandon Rhymes, a Consumer Quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in any marketplace. And we like to feature our real estate listings. We've got a hot listing at 4220 West Pearl Avenue. This is a South Tampa commercial property, and it's a corner lot. Great location in South Tampa at 4220 West Pearl Avenue. This property is set up currently as got a small office building on there, about 1,200 square feet, but it's a great place to park your trucks and all types of equipment, machinery. So that's one of our hot listings here. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75. Tell me something good.
All right, feel-good story of the day. Dallas police officers distribute new shoes to kids who need them. So working as a police officer isn't only about tracking down criminals and making arrests. Serving in law enforcement is also about caring for members of the community in very tangible, life-changing ways. For the last 6 years, the Dallas, Texas Northwest Division Neighborhood Police Officer Unit has provided shoes to hundreds of children before school year starts through its Spare the Shoes program. According to the group's website, they were at it again this year, providing sneakers for toddlers, teens, and kids and teens, thanks to donations from their corporate partners. And so, great opportunity. And its quote is saying, if a child is in need of shoes, the Share the Shoes program allows officers to lace up a new pair for the child to run and play in, the Dallas Police Department noted on its website. All right, there you have it. There's our feel-good story of the day. And we've got Nick Schriver in the house, Decorating Elves, outdoor lighting specialist here. We were talking a little bit about negotiation and, some of the key takeaways, for this book. I mean, there's great stuff. Mirroring and the labels was really cool, suspending unbelief. Talks about the different parts of the brain as well, like the amygdala, the amygdala portion of the brain that generates fear. So I think it's so much about, tactical empathy, as you mentioned, figuring out, trying to understand what are the underlying reasons why the other side is asking for what they're asking for, whether it's price or maybe concessions on a certain type of deal. But trying to get to the root problem or the root cause of why your counterpart. By the way, it's not a antagonistic relationship, because without a counterpart, you wouldn't have a deal, right? So without a buyer, if I'm representing the seller, there's no deal there. So I think that's starting off, from starting point is like, hey, no, this is not a antagonist. This is actually a collaborative, cooperative type of an environment, because if without that buyer agent, I'm not going to be able to get this deal done.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the big takeaways, and for those that may not know what that book is, Chris Voss was an FBI negotiator for a significant amount of years.
Yep.
And he was a negotiator in New York City, and then he kind of grew up to be like a national and then international negotiator. And he was set in on some pretty big, significant, high-profile negotiating cases where people, hostage being taken and things like that. And one of the things that he talks about is like when he first started in that is how like it was kind of just like brute force was their negotiation.
Right.
And how statistically they got nowhere.
Yep.
And that they really had to flip the script on that. And then he basically got his stripes cut from answering phones at the suicide hotline in New York City.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
And so a lot of that, like I can only imagine answering those calls, for how many ever months and years that he did that. And learning like literally how and where, and then taking that to the national stage. So it's a pretty interesting story. Like one of the cool things I like about the book is he really has some great stories in there, and a lot of that stuff's relevant to some major news headlines that have happened through my history, through some of the years, and that's super cool. But one of the things that you mentioned just a minute ago was mirroring, and maybe you could share a little bit how that mirroring works. Yeah. And this is really just kind of a really help for maybe somebody in a business negotiation, or maybe a homeowner, or maybe somebody in a real estate transaction.
Mirroring is there's a traditional way to look at it, and that's where you want to be like and similar to that other person, right? So if they're sitting forward body language wise, I want to sit forward. If they are talking at a slow pace, I want to match their pace. I don't want to be this fast talker and get things done real fast, and they're slow. They're just more of a country guy from Dade City area, and they're going to talk a little bit slower. So I got to match them, right? Mm-hmm. But also with mirroring, so match and mirror. But when you mirror, basically, it's pretty easy to think about. You think about the last three, typically it's the last 3 to 4 words that the person said. And if you will do that, practice this too with your conversations with your kids, coworkers, etc. You just mention the last 3 to 4 words that they said, and you repeat it back to them. So you're just going to mirror and bounce it right back to them. So whenever you repeat that, their natural inclination in their brain is to add more nuance and detail.
So we're going to repeat back what the last few sentences were that somebody just said.
Yeah, or 3 words. Yeah, 3 to 4 words.
Okay.
So if I'm going to repeat back exactly what you just did, so what happens is now I'm going to go deeper and I'm going to add more nuance and detail to that.
Yeah.
Right. So how can that help me? How can that help me as a negotiator? Well, they're adding more nuance and detail. They're peeling back the onion for me, right?
Absolutely. Well, and on the other side, it kind of helps the other person feel like they've been understood a little.
There you go. So it's a two-prong approach, right? So we're learning more information on why they want that price cut on that listing, because the inspection had issues with the breaker box, or the outlet didn't work in the living room. So we're going to understand why they're coming from where they're coming from, and that's going to help us get to a better point. But we're almost out of time here, Nick. Give us your final thought and where folks can find you online and how you want to connect with them, about 15, 20 seconds.
Absolutely. So Nick Schriver, Outdoor Lighting by Decorating Elves. You can always get a hold of us at 1-800-MY-LIGHTS. That's 1-800-MYLITES. And you can always find us at www.decoratingelves.com. Website's got a lot of information. And we'd love to come out and illuminate your property, help you enjoy it, help you enjoy that nighttime in that outdoor room.
Give them a call, 1-800-MY-LIGHTS, L-I-T-E-S. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.